You're listening to the King's Cast podcast. New episodes are released weekly. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at King's Cast, like on Facebook, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. King's Cast. This is D Fresh with Eric and Ryan. We are your weekly Sacramento Kings podcast. It's a Kings podcast for Kings fans by Kings fans. And we're excited to have you guys join us on another podcast, our 24th podcast here. Give us a follow on Twitter at KingsCast D Fresh, at KingsCast Eric, and at KingsCast Ryan. As always, our episodes are sponsored by Ziggy Smoke Shop. Give them a follow on Instagram at Ziggy Smoke Shop 209 with locations in Stockton and Tracy. And make sure you're checking their Instagram for their current hours. Let's check in with the guys, Eric and Ryan. How you guys doing today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited that we're doing this. Usually we do them in the mornings. Today is at night. So I'm going to be a little more lively this time around. But yeah, I'm really excited, man. It's going to be fun.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I like doing them at night. I think early back in the season we were doing them at night, and it's that different vibe. I think a little more loose in the evening when we do the podcast. I've had all my caffeine for the day. I ate my dinner, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Ryan, your allergies doing better today, man?
They are better at nighttime. Hey, real quick, I'm really excited. Can I just share something? So I bought a house a few months ago. I've been landscaping the backyard. It's been coming along real well. A couple weeks ago, I laid a cement patio and I put some lights in that are like solar lights. And this is probably 2.5, 3 weeks ago. They just turned on right now. Just to let you guys throw that out there. My lights actually work. I was really pissed because I spent like $80 and they weren't working. Randomly just turned on, so that's a plus.
Breaking news here on King's Cast. The solar lights at the Culpepper house are on.
Now,
yes,
was there a switch or something you needed to flip, or?
No. They're solar lights, Eric. So they are freestanding in the dirt. They have a battery in them that are. Honestly, I don't know. I put them in the dirt a couple weeks ago. They haven't been working. I was gonna take them back, and my wife just texted me right now and said my lights came on. So hell yeah.
The little
if Ryan gets up and leaves, he's going to check on his lights.
Yeah,
it's like I talked about. It's like I talked about last week. Like one of the biggest accomplishments I've done over the quarantines has been my yard and getting that thing nice and green. I actually got a sprinkler head in the mail today, so I'm itching to replace that. So I'm feeling the same thing as you, Ryan. That sense of accomplishment, when you get shit done, and that's what's been going on with all this free time.
Okay, so you bought your sprinkler head like through Amazon?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Have you seen the lines at Home Depot? They're crazy, man.
Well, I live in Escalon, #City of Champions, and we have a nice Ace Hardware that does not have a line. So I can walk right into your local Ace Hardware, get my sprinklers when I need. So I don't have to go that route.
I live the closest Home Depot to me is by Sac State. And man, that one's crazy. I tried to go in the parking lot, and I couldn't even get in the parking lot. So I turned around. But I guess moving on though to some like maybe more cool stuff for people to listen to. What you guys been working? Anything you guys been doing at work or anything like that?
I was just gonna say, what have you guys been doing like during this time? Like I've golfed twice in the last week. Like you guys been golfing, or like Eric, what have you been up to, man?
I've been working. I went back to work, so it's pretty much just been that the cycling, like I've been talking about, doing the yards. Ryan, you back at work? Like, what have you been up to?
Okay, so I've been working like 2, sometimes 3 days a week. I actually just got a call today. I'm pretty positive. Well, I'm going back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and I'm pretty sure starting next week I'm 5 days a week. Real quick, I think Eric kind of hinting. I told him a story earlier about what happened to my job. Last week, I work at a federal facility, and we had a person come on and we had to search his truck. Long story short, there was a briefcase, and I had to search this briefcase. I opened it up, didn't really think nothing of it. Turns out there was a dildo in there, not a big one, normal sized, just from some regular
Normal
old man.
size.
So
Now,
that
can hey, can I
that was
interject?
that
Let
was
me
interesting.
interject on your story real quick. So, when you say normal
Okay, go.
size, what do you mean, like normal size for a man or normal size for you? Because
Um, well, hey, that's a valid question. Eric, me and Eric are brothers, so I'm pretty sure we share the same size, or at least in the same ballpark, at least. This was normal size, like man. So I'm gonna go ahead and say like normal, probably like 6.5, 7 normal size man.
okay,
Yes,
so
I
by
know,
far
Eric,
larger
what you're
than
gonna
you.
say.
By far larger.
That's
Yes, for
that's
sure.
above average, right?
100%. I'm just going off of what I've heard from other guys. That's it. That's all.
Okay,
What
so
the
you
fuck?
found the dildo. Did you like do what did you
Okay.
do?
Okay. So, I mean, having a dildo is not illegal. So, what could I do? The guy wasn't paying attention. Like we were searching his vehicle, and he was probably, I don't know, 20 yards away. So what I did, I thought it'd be funny, is I left it out. I didn't, I didn't really put it back in its normal place. So that way, like, he's gonna drive down the street and then he's gonna look over and be like, "Oh crap, they found my dildo already." So I just thought that'd be a little funny, even though I'm not gonna be able to see his reaction. It brought me a little joy in that moment. So
That's
that's
it's
what I've been doing, guys.
that's honestly one of the funniest stories, and that's why I was like, you have to tell this shit on the podcast because it's like the world needs to know that there's truckers out there traveling with dildos in suitcases.
And the funny part is the guy was super cool. He was probably 60. Super nice guy. He came out, "Hey, how you doing, young man?" I was like, "Oh, doing good, sir," blah blah blah. He was real, like, charismatic, and I just thought he was just old grandpa. Turns out grandpa's a freaky leaky dude, crazy man.
Freaky
So that
leaky
was
with that fake leaky.
yeah. So, all right, let's get this going, dude. We don't want to get too far crazy in the weeds and weird. We don't want people to think we're weird, guys.
Yeah, we are kind of weird. And I think if people have been listening to us for a while, they know we're weird. But I don't know. It's fun because sometimes we come on here and we do get pretty serious and deep into Kings, and I think
Get right
right
at
now,
business.
yeah, and I think like right now, it's a good time just to be loose and just kick back. Um, there's not too much going on right now, and it is a fun time on Twitter, and I think that we get a lot of our content from Twitter because we interact and interject a lot on articles in the chats, and I think that we're just like a little bit different, and so I think it'd be a good idea if we just go through today and really just talk about what's been going on in the Twitter land. That's kind of been my thing, my phrase, I guess, right? And so, in Kingsland, rather, right? Um, so I wanted to kind of talk about some different articles, but I wanted to introduce a new segment to everybody. If you guys are down, and as I wanted to drop the trash take of the week. So I think what we should start doing each week is just seeing if we can find one article that's the trash take of the week and kind of break it down. So I didn't really have it ready, but do you guys think that's something we could probably come up with that each week, right? Pretty easy.
This is fun because at least once a week, at least the three of us team up on somebody on Twitter for making some stupid takes.
We
So
we never
I'm
lack
excited about this.
we never lack content regarding someone to go after for saying something stupid. So
So I'll start it off. Let's start off this week and let everybody know it's garbage day. It's time to take out the garbage, and so that's the trash take of the week is going to go to Bryant something. I don't know who Bryant something is. He's from the King's Herald. So uh, old Sacktown royalty guys. They started the King's Herald, and one of their first articles that they put out was who is the second best Sacramento King, and I think this season. And so they went through and they broke down a couple different ones, and I'm gonna give Bryant the trash take of the week because guess what, guys? Guess who he picked as his number 2 player for the Kings this season?
Ryan's doppelganger.
I do kind of look like him. I'll give you that.
Maybe we should throw
Go
up
ahead.
Doug. We should throw up a side by side on Twitter just to fuck with Ryan of when he
I
was
made
younger.
one a couple years ago. We'll have to share that with our fans.
Yeah. So
When I was in high school, that was when I was in high school. I don't think we look alike anymore, but when I was probably 18, yes, I will give that to you.
I'll give you that. Yeah, a younger Ryan looks like kind of like a modern day Bogey. That's correct.
Yes.
yeah. So this
I'll
guy,
accept that.
this guy put Bogdan Bogdanovic as their second best player. And if you've been listening to Kings Cast, you know how we feel about Bogey. We just think he's a good player. He's average. I'm going to read you guys his kind of opening reasoning. And Ryan, I'll let you kind of pick this apart and just kind of let people know why this is fucking dumb, okay? So he says, Bogdan Bogdanovic is the Kings' second most important player. He's arguably the most well-rounded king on the roster. Okay, offering real shooting gravity, secondary playmaking, solid team defense. And this is the kicker, while not needing to pound the air out of the ball to be effective. And then he's an excellent fit with the rest of the Kings, and it's my favorite word, the Kings core. All right, he can control the ball to free up Buddy Hield, which him and Buddy Hield, how often do those guys ever even play together? Rarely. He can run the pick and roll with Rashawn Holmes or Marvin Bagley and space the floor with his offensive versatility. And there's like 4 paragraphs. I'm not going to read them all. Ryan, why don't you break this guy down right now and just tell us why we disagree with this?
Okay, I'm going to jump back a few minutes ago to what you said about taking the trash. I'm not going to let this slide because I've been holding on to this for the last few minutes. Eric said we're going to take out the garbage. I'm pretty sure that was a line from the Mighty Ducks when they're all shooting soda cans at Goldberg, and Gordon Bombay is yelling, "It's time to take out the trash." Like,
that's not where I pulled the reference. It's not where I pulled the reference.
I'm pretty sure it was. All right. No. I just wanted to throw that out there. Eric is a huge Mighty Ducks fan, so I just wanted to.
M2 is the greatest sequel ever made. Go ahead.
Well, that was the original Mighty Ducks when Goldberg was terrible and they all shot soda cans at him. But anyways, okay, so back to Bryant, whatever his name is. All right. First off, he says that Bogdan is. What do you say? He doesn't need to dribble the ball out or the air out of the ball. Okay. First, we've talked about this multiple times. When you watch Sacramento, Bogey literally just sits there and dribbles the ball. Okay. That is something that he does do. He holds onto the ball too long. Secondary playmaking, that is something that I can, whatever. Kings don't really have too many playmakers, so I'm not really going to try to touch on that. As far as shooting, I don't really see where that's coming. I mean, Buddy Hield is by far the best shooter on that team. So I just don't. It feels to me like this Bryant guy doesn't really watch the Sacramento Kings play too often. Team defense. What's the exact verbiage on that, Eric?
He says that he plays solid
team defense.
Yeah, and what the fuck what is that? Like, what is that?
I see. And that's where he kind of lost me is, I'll get along with your playmaking. Okay, whatever. But solid team defense. All right. I don't know if there's a stat for that, if there's something that this guy could break down for us, but I would say that there is other guys on the team that play other team defense wise. That to me, that doesn't really mean anything. All right, great. You come over and help out on, you play some help side defense. That's awesome. But again, I don't think this guy really watches too much Sacramento basketball. Buddy Hield is by far the second best player on the team. As far as Bogdanovic, he was averaging 14 points and 3 assists and 3 rebounds when he was on the bench. He gets put in the starting lineup and he does the same thing. And I want to say that his shooting even went down a little bit. So I really don't understand where this guy's coming from.
It's these constant takes. I know that we are very quick to point out the Bogey thing. It's something that we've got hyped on just because we feel like early on we identified this, and collectively I feel like we all agree. And it seems like the narrative around Bogey hasn't changed for the majority, which is that he's this well-rounded player. He gets a lot of credit for a lot of things. I think people like the idea of him. And I think that people that maybe don't understand as much, they just like the idea of him. Do you think that's what it is?
I 100% think that is. A lot of people get mistaken too. Bogdanovic has only been in the league 3 years. All right. A lot of people mistake him and think that he's a lot younger. I know me and Eric talked about this yesterday. A lot of guys think, he's 24, maybe 25. Bogdanovich will be 28 by the time the season starts this year. So I see a lot of stuff as people, Eric was reading an article yesterday. Somebody said that Bogdanovich can turn into a real 3-and-D guy. He has potential to be that. What we're seeing from Bogdanovich right now is what you're going to get for the rest of his career. In the NBA, your prime is from 27 to about 32 years old. Bogdanovich is smack dab in the middle of that. And I really don't understand where people think he's going to develop into anything more than what he already is.
So I think people that listen to us know how we feel about this. I don't really know how much we have to. We've said a lot already, but we can't attack somebody in their article, I guess, without offering up some type of. We offered up our rebuttal and why we don't think he is. I think we are in agreement on who the second best player is, and Buddy Hield. Do you agree with that, guys?
Yes, it's
100%.
Buddy Hield. It's Buddy Hield.
I mean, Buddy Hield is the second highest scorer on the team. You know, I think he's the second best player. We've talked about how we believe he has elite skill traits and everything. You know, the crazy thing is, and I wanted to have a debate around this as we broke this guys down. I really honestly I thought about it, and I'm trying to be real. I'm not going to try to be a hater just because we haven't been too high on Bogdanovich, but realistically, I would put him as about the 6th or 7th best player on the Kings. I don't know how you guys, but let's add it up and see.
Throughout that other article, there was a lot of people who named different players. I think one guy had Harrison Barnes, one guy had Rashawn Holmes, and literally all those guys, during Marvin Bagley, whatever you want to say, you can make arguments for those other guys. Okay, each one of those other players does something pretty elite at their position. Like Buddy is an elite 3-point shooter. Rashawn Holmes, I would say, is an elite athlete. All right, Bogdanovich, for me, he doesn't do anything great. Everything is pretty average. He's a average to good, good shooter. I would say he's average defense. His athleticism is probably a little below average. So, I don't understand the argument for him being the second best. Harrison Barnes, he's big. He can play multiple positions. So, I don't know if you guys catch my drift, but he can, there's other arguments for other players.
So I would say, because I said I feel like there might be 5 to 6 players better than Bogdanovich. I would say, of course, and this will be in no order, but I'll start with Fox, Buddy Hield. I would take Rashawn Holmes. I would take Harrison Barnes. I would take a Marvin Bagley. And honestly, this year, I would probably prefer Kent Bazemore, and that's where a lot of people would probably disagree with me, but that's how I feel. I would take Kent Bazemore right now over Bogdanovich. And maybe he's not better, but I think that Kent Bazemore is equally as versatile as far as his ability to play a couple different positions. The thing about Bazemore is he plays defense.
He's a much better defender.
He's a much better defender, and he seems to be able to shoot. That's kind of the class that I put Bogey in, and that's why I get so worked up, I guess, and I think you guys do too, when people start touting him as the number 2 player. I don't think we're ever going to get an answer. I have not heard a good rebuttal to what we've said. I think it's just going to unfortunately take us a lot of time before this plays out, and I think we're just going to be right at the end of the day, which is going to suck.
For me.
Yeah, Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to jump in and say, I think personally the only guy that could maybe, go up against Buddy for the second best player would be Marvin Bagley, but he hasn't played this year. So it's hands down Buddy Hield. I think straight across the board, we can all agree with that. So.
The only disagreement that I have with your argument, Eric, right there is, like Doug just said, Marvin Bagley hasn't really played. I do think Bogdanovich is a better player than Kent Bazemore. I mean, I really do. And we have seen such a small sample size of Kent Bazemore. But I would probably go Fox, Buddy, Harrison, Rashawn Holmes, and then I think Bogey, Marvin, those guys. Then you start making arguments for other guys.
So moving on to another article, which was the old it's Sacktown Royalty, but Sacktown Royalty has new writers, and for this one, I wanted to talk about it's the same thing. It's like I felt like this week maybe we kind of went. Everybody seemed to be writing a lot of articles about ranking Kings players and things like that. And so this Sacktown Royalty article, uh, they put they gave all the players grades, and it seemed like every player got an A or a B. I mean, don't you guys think that's ridiculous? If you're going to grade out the team this season, I mean, you're going to give a team what's their record? How they're losing
28 and
8 games under
36.
500.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like you're gonna give them all A or Bs like that. That's lazy reporting or writing, whatever you want to call it. We went in on this guy Christian Rivas or is that his name? Yeah, Christian Rivas at Rad Rivas, because he gave Bokey an A. So Ryan, you went in on this guy, man. You broke down the stats. I thought it was really funny when what was he talking about? How he graded him? What did he say to you?
All right. So, when you make when you make observations like this and you give a guy an A and it's gone against everything that I've seen this year and everything that we've talked about on this show, I started throwing stats at him. You can't lie with stats. Stats don't lie. So I threw, stats out there, 14 and whatever, 3-3 is what he averaged when he was on the bench. 14, 3-3 is average when he was the average when he started. Also, this guy's rebuttal was, well, he's responsible for this winning streak late in the blah, blah, whatever. No, he's not. The Kings made moves at the trade deadline and got deeper, younger, more athletic, and got a little better. Yeah, so he came back with, I think I kind of stumped him, and his rebuttal to that was, well, you do know what grading on a curve is, right? So, now I'm sitting here like, oh, so now we're grading on a curve. I don't, why didn't you say that in your article? And maybe I wouldn't have got on here and blasted you a little bit on Twitter. So, by the way, the guy's a Lakers fan. So that's another guy. Obviously, he just doesn't really watch Sacramento basketball. I don't understand how you can give anybody besides maybe De'Aaron Fox an A for the season. The team's bad. They're 8 games under 500. If the season the season was going towards another non-playoff route. So I don't understand this guy's observation.
It's it's I don't know. I think one thing we've done lately is we've inserted ourselves into a lot of conversations on Twitter. And I don't think we're being trolls. I think some people take us as that. I think that one thing we like to do is we like to kind of embrace that debate, embrace um, those discussions, and I feel like every time we get into it with people and we just say some stuff because I just want people to defend their points sometimes, or like, what did you mean by that? I feel like sometimes it's kind of lazy writing. Um, I don't know. Do you guys feel like we're maybe trolls, or do you think that's a little bit off?
Well, I think, Eric, just to kind of extend on what you're talking about, we make people uncomfortable per se because I think they've been coddled by local media and stuff because they always take the safe route, and the guys who are average players get a little bit too much love sometimes on the on the media up here. So I think we're trying to get the real word out and how we see things, and because we feel like a lot of other Kings fans see things how we do. It's just they're kind of afraid to come out and talk about it. But also, I just want to point out too, if you were to look further into this Twitter conversation, these guys I screenshotted, these guys that have taken over Sacktown Royalty also do a ton of Lakers coverage. So yeah, are they really watching every Kings game, and are they giving their best input regarding that? So
No, so like I completely agree with you. A lot of guys, they're not watching like that. And it's not, touching on the troll thing, it's not that we're trolls. We don't go on Twitter looking to just bash people for their takes. It's I'll respect your take when you support your take. I don't put anything on Twitter about Sacramento or any other sports or anything without thinking it through. I'm not gonna put something, like giving somebody a grade for the season without giving an explanation to why. So like Eric said, soft takes, we're going to come after you. If you support your take and you stand your ground, I'm all for it, man. I'll respect what you think, but again, don't come at us with a soft take and just give us some non-statistical facts and that's the kind of stuff that bugs us.
You know what's hella funny is that lately it's happened a couple times. Matt George gave it to me. A couple people have gave it to us. They get frustrated because they have to engage, and it seems like the standard response is like this. Well, good luck with your podcast then. like, I don't know. I just feel like these people put out their articles and they live in their little bubble, like you guys were saying, and they feel like they're above being questioned, you know. And it's just funny that response back. I get a kick at those.
Hey, can we just wrap this subject up with this? I just looked further into it too. He gave Yogi Ferrell, who's played in 44 games and averages 4.2 points a game, a C.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you want to give it.
Come on, dude.
Average low bench guy, whatever, dude. That just validates our point.
That's my point. Yeah.
Before we go into the big article, I think we're going to talk about a little bit more. I didn't bring this one up with you guys, but I had a Bleacher Report. Tell me what you guys think. I retweeted their thing. They've been every day or every other day. They've been redrafting NBA drafts, starting with like the year 2000 or something. And they did a redrafting of the 2011 NBA draft where the Kings picked 7th. They had the Kings picking Isaiah Thomas at number 7 over Jonas Valanciunas and Tristan Thompson, Tobias Harris. I retweeted it and I said, haha, the Kings still blow it in a redraft. So I just thought that was funny.
Instead of taking him at 60.
Yeah, I mean, I know Isaiah Thomas had bits in his career, but like, I don't know, over some of those guys, I just thought that was a funny thing to bring up. Redrafts are fun. If we could find a way to do an episode of a redraft, that would be fun to do, because I know Ryan and I look like doing stuff like that.
I'm real quick. I'm not. You would say that you would take Jonas Valanciunas over Isaiah Thomas in a redraft?
Only because probably, man. I think Isaiah Thomas had that 1 year, and
no, he didn't.
I think so. Are we going to go into a whole?
We'll talk about this then. We'll talk about this later time.
I can read off the top 10 of what actually happened, so our listeners kind of have an idea, remembering what the 2011 draft went like.
I'm like in a redraft though. Isaiah Thomas 7, like that. Yeah, why not, dude? Like
over Tobias Harris.
Over Klay Thompson?
At this point,
wait, where's Klay Thompson going that one?
Klay Thompson probably's got to go 2 or 3 in the redraft.
Yeah.
Okay. Over Tobias Harris right now. Okay, so we're talking about up to this points in their career. Isaiah Thomas definitely, Eric. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really high on Isaiah Thomas. I think Isaiah Thomas played on a pretty decent team and was the focal point and got the opportunity to score 20 in a game that year. Besides that, he was a good scorer, but there's a reason he just kind of no one ever.
But that Boston team advanced in the playoffs, dude. Like, I don't understand. And he averaged, when he was with Sacramento, he averaged 20 points a game, and he was legit. He had a few very good years.
Look, at the end of the day, I made it lighthearted. I don't feel like that would have been the best choice at that spot. I just thought it was funny to bring up. But
hey, just looking at this draft, though, that was a great draft, deep. But go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
No, it was. That's the thing about these redrafts, is that you get to kind of see where players fell. The thing that sucks about these redrafts, and why I wanted to bring it up, was that you just notice that year over year over year over year that the Kings just were going in the wrong direction, maybe than everybody else, And not that we wanted to make this a whole episode about redrafts, but they're just kind of funny when you go back and read them all. The big article, though, that I really wanted to dive in with you guys on was the Jason Jones article. And I just lost it because I was looking through, but here it is. So Jason Jones, he put out an article on The Athletic. Now, Doug, you have the login for The Athletic. I don't, so I wasn't able to read it. But I did I did just read his tweet and reply to his tweet, and I thought that was enough. So this isn't necessarily an attack on Jason Jones or what he said, because I don't know what he said, but it just sparked this idea. It was he said, "Who among this group should have their jersey retired by the Kings next?" And he says he makes his suggestion among the group he considered to be the top 15 Kings of the last 35 years, and so he's basically saying, who deserves to have their jersey retired next. And I wanted to bring this up because I feel very strongly about franchises and jersey retirements, and I I have a certain opinion on this, but I'm going to let Ryan go first, and just talk about jersey retirements and how it pertains to the Kings. Ryan.
Okay, so when it comes down to it, um, you know, who do they have retired right now? It from the 2000s on. It's Chris Webber, Vladi, and Peja, correct?
Yeah.
Those are the three. All right, so I can understand Chris Webber. I don't understand Vladi Divac at all. Okay, that makes no sense to me. Vladi never made an All Star team in Sacramento. All right, they never won a championship with Vladi Divac. It's not like Vladi holds any type of Kings, um, like records or anything like that. What is his stats in Sacramento, Doug? Do you have that up?
Yeah, he spent 6 seasons in Sacramento, averaging 11.4 points per game and 7.8 rebounds a game. So, meh.
See, are you shitting me? Like, seriously, you retired this guy because he was a part of a team that lost in the Western Conference Finals. Literally. Maybe you retired his number because of his little contributions that he had as a GM. All right. If anybody deserves to have their jersey retired that doesn't have it so far, Mike Bibby should be over Vladi Divac every single day. And it's not even close. And if you want to talk about career accolades in Sacramento, Chris Webber never made a first team All NBA. Vladi never made a first team All NBA. Peja never did. Neither did Bibby. The only person to make a first team All NBA in Sacramento was Doug Christie in 2003 with the defensive team. All right. So you want to talk about retiring jerseys? It's ludicrous, man. It's kind of sad.
Well, you said it actually says right here, Doug. You can double check, but it says Chris Webber made the All NBA first team in 2001. Ryan,
Did he?
that's what it says, man.
He was first team All NBA in 2001, and then 99, 02, and 03 second team.
Okay, all right. So Chris Webber's jersey is retired, is it not?
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Chris, I even said you could make an argument for Chris Webber to retire his jersey, but Vladi, Peja, no. It's ridiculous. If you're going to retire Vladi's jersey, then you might as well just retire the whole starting five from the team.
And
Bibby's jersey better be retired then. It's not fair to Mike Bibby and Doug Christie.
and that's what I had. That's what I had replied to Jason Jones, because I said to him that this team has what was my exact reply? I said something. I said there are two Pacific Division banners hanging at the Gold One Center. Don't see the need to retire the entire squad for that. And he replied, "Who retired the entire squad?" And I replied, there's already three of them retired. I said, "Does anyone else need to be?" Nope. I said, "I don't even know why Peja and Vladi retired in the first place." And I agree with you. I mean, Chris Webber, although he didn't, he's not in the Hall of Fame, you can make the argument that Chris Webber's the best player in Sacramento era history, and for that, there's some justification on the retirement, But as for me, my take is, if you're a franchise, you're only retiring jerseys if they are Hall of Fame players, if they took you or carried you to a championship, or they produced, what I would say I would consider like elite level statistics for a long period of time. Like that's kind of Mitch Richmond's thing, right? Mitch Richmond never really played on good teams. I think he maybe made the playoff one time during his time, but he put up elite level stats, and for that, he got the recognition, right? And so that's the only kind of time I would put it in there. But it's just kind of a reflection of the Sacramento Kings franchise when you want to retire these guys for what I would consider mediocre stats.
Very, very mediocre. Vladdy might have made an all-star team with Sacramento, but when you average 11 and 7, Doug, is that what that was?
Yeah.
That's not very good numbers. Like, what are Jason Thompson's career numbers in Sacramento?
Not
Like
much
that,
better than
they've
that.
got to be.
We've gone over them before. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jason Thompson probably has similar stats. I know for a fact Willie Cauley-Stein has probably better stats than Vladi did in Sacramento. So I really don't understand. Like when you talk about accolades, you talk about statistics. That's when jerseys get retired, championships, that kind of things. Vladi doesn't check any of the boxes. Either does Peja, all right, and either does anybody else who's ever played for Sacramento. So I the whole jersey thing, it's kind of Sacramento just they're doing it just to do it because they don't have anybody who they can do it with.
Well, if we're retiring numbers like based on what you did in Sacramento, and hear me out on this, and I know he played through a shit era, but if Vladi has his number retired, then when DeMarcus Cousins retired, he better have his fucking number retired. Because in his 7 seasons, he averaged over 21 a game, almost 11 boards, so a double-double every night. He's first in rebounds, second in points, second in blocks, third in steals. So DeMarcus Cousins better have number 15 hanging from the Raptors someday too.
100%, and that's what I'm talking about. Does DeMarcus Cousins deserve it? Hell no. But based off of what you're throwing out there, yes, he does.
Correct.
According to your criteria, what is Vladi and Peja have done zero. Like Peja, cool, you won back-to-back 3-point championships. You made a few All-Stars, cool. Again, you never made an NBA Finals. You didn't bring anything besides 2 Pacific banners. That is it.
So I think that it all circles around to me, which is that Sacramento Kings fan mindset, and it's that how they view basketball and how they view the Kings. And when I say how they view basketball, it's like, do they even watch the NBA? People get so hyper focused on the Kings, and they just kind of fall in love with the environment and their team, and they compare players to their team. And I think DeMarcus Cousins, it sucks because Mitch Richmond. What did Mitch Richmond accomplish? It's team wise. He didn't accomplish anything team wise, right?
No,
No.
he lost. They went to the playoffs like 95, 96. I think they lost to the Sonics like 3-1. The only thing that he ever did was be the All-Star Game MVP while he was in Sacramento. That's it.
And what is that? Who cares? That's the All Star Game MVP. That's like the random individual team stat. It's kind of my thing where Mitch Richmond gets a lot of love um, from the Kings, but just because he put up a lot of stats. But like Doug does bring the good argument where if you look at even DeMarcus Cousins, I mean DeMarcus Cousins, the level of stats that he reached was crazy. And I think we should clarify again, we're not advocating that these guys get their jerseys retired. It's just that people want to hold on to this little era, and we did an episode a couple weeks ago about that Sacramento Kings '02 early 2000s era, and talked all about that. And it's like, if that's your one claim to fame, was like 1 year you got the Western Conference Finals, and you want to hang your whole franchise on that and retire everything on that, I just think it just only helps fuel this what I call the losers mentality that the Kings have, that the media has. It's this celebration of mediocrity. It's like when Rashawn Holmes gets chanted for an MVP for just playing hard. I just think that stuff's sad, and real franchises, I don't think do stuff like that. Winning franchise don't do stuff like that. And I think that's where we come at people on Twitter is we think this stuff's pathetic. We accept it for what it is, I think, and we just kind of own it and hope to get better. Whereas a lot of people try to, I would say, elevate the team and get caught up on all of that. And I don't know, it just bothers me. And all these articles coming up, I feel like I'm going crazy.
Yeah, I think people are just sorry, Ron. People are just scratching for content right now, and so we're seeing some outlandish, claims. I guess I would say, Ryan. How do you feel about that? You agree with that?
Yeah, there's nothing else to do, so people are gonna try to look back on the past, and I Sacramento specifically, there's not much to look at. So we're coming, they're coming up with, their Mount Rushmores in Sacramento, or who's the second best player on the team right now. And in reality, there's none of that, like it's just, there's not a lot with Sacramento history to come out with these types of ideas and stuff. So, or lists.
All right. Well, hey, we're looking to getting back on with you guys soon. Again, keep interacting with us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever is easiest for you guys. Again, we're not credentialed. We're not paid to do this stuff. Like we always say, this is a podcast for Kings fans by Kings fans. So for D-Fresh, Eric and Ryan, go Kangs.
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 Thanks for listening to the Kangs Cast podcast. Make sure to subscribe and be notified for our next episode. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at KangsCast, like on Facebook, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.